All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll do a silent prayer and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mrs. Franks.
Okay, and if you, when I call your name, if you could say where you're attending this virtual meeting, please.
Thank you.
Mayor Kindle.
Present, attending meeting in the city of Harper Woods at the City Administration Office.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino.
Present, attending from Allen Park, Michigan.
Okay, Councilwoman Lyons.
Present and attending virtually from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Pies.
Present and attending from Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Present and attending virtually from my house in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Williams, who I do not see. Councilman Toussaint.
Present and attending virtually from my home in Harper Woods.
Okay, acting City Manager Szymanski.
Here.
And City Attorney DeWally.
Here.
Okay.
All right. We're called together for this special meeting, and we only have one thing on our agenda. So I'll let the city manager, acting city manager, describe what we will be doing in this special meeting.
Okay, Mayor and Council, item C1, appointment of council, Eastland Development. I have attached an engagement letter from Richard Barr of Honigman LLP to provide legal services in connection with the proposed redevelopment of Eastland Center. He has vast experience in the area of brownfield development plans and is highly recommended. The letter clearly defines the duties and anticipated work that will be performed. The fees for the services are billed at the standard rates per hour for lawyers and professional staff primarily devoted to this project. These fees and costs are not predictable and are dependent on several factors that are outlined in the engagement letter. It is my recommendation that Richard Barr of Honigman LLP be appointed as counsel on this project as outlined in the engagement letter dated July 15th, 2021. And I'd like to make a comment too on the recommended action. At the last sentence, it says, and to further authorize the city manager, that should be acting city manager. And with that, Mayor, I have no other business.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I'll offer by resolution to appoint Richard Barr of the Honigman LLP firm as counsel for the proposed brownfield plan and other potential incentives related to the proposed redevelopment of the Eastland Mall property in an amount not to exceed $10,000, and further authorize the acting city manager to sign the necessary documents.
Support.
Support by Councilwoman Constantino. Discussion.
Madam Mayor,
Councilwoman Sawicki had her hand up first before you.
Just a quick question, and that is for the acting city manager to let us know how Mr. Barr was selected.
Okay, Mr. Barr was selected because of his experience. He has a career in brownfield authorities. He has a career in industrial facilities exemption certificates. He's and also with special services agreements. We have 3 particular legal documents that we have to have prepared to get through to the state treasury, and in particular with the MEDC office of the state, and with meeting all the environmental regulations and so forth. And it will be Mr. Barr's job to successfully navigate a brownfield authority so that demolition costs can be recaptured. An industrial facilities exemption certificate that's normally known as a Section 198 tax abatement that's going to be paired with this development, and also with a special services agreement which will provide funding to the city of Harper Woods. Mr. Barr came highly recommended by our assessing department, by everybody that's in the business as being a person that's very knowledgeable in this field. And he's here tonight for any further questions. He's on vacation in Colorado. Richard, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to assist the city. I am out of town, but it's just like the last year and a half, as you know from your experience. With Zoom nearby, you're never very far, and happy to join you tonight and answer this afternoon, rather than answer any questions you might have about my experience and what I can help the city with in this project. Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Pies.
Yes, thank you. I had a question about the contract. It says generally that we would be directly invoiced for significant third-party expenses. I'm wondering if that will be included in the $10,000 that we would be invoiced, or is that a separate cost to the city?
Okay, I wanted to clarify that. The city will not be expending any of its money. We have negotiated with North Point to use the money from their escrow account. We are currently holding $20,000 of their money. We have permission to use that for this development because it is required that everything be passed by the state of Michigan and all the regulatory agencies. And what will happen is when the documents are drawn up to our satisfaction, again, the city attorney will review this. It will come before the council and at their, hopefully by the August 9th meeting. And what will happen after that is if council approves the documents, then the sale can take place at Eastland. We will be going forward in this entire process. And again, Richard, if you have anything to add to that, it would be most helpful.
Sure. In answer to the specific question about third-party expenses, I don't expect there will be any of any consequence. That language in our document is intended if we need to hire for any given matter a third party like an appraiser or an environmental consultant, other people. I don't anticipate any of those costs in this project. So if anything, there'll be very nominal fee cost, at most dollars, tens of dollars, hundreds of dollars, but nothing substantial under that category.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Constantino.
Yeah, I am interested in knowing about this tax abatement and what our new council's experience or our new proposed council's experience is with tax abatements. Because I heard that the people who would be purchasing Eastland and taking it over have a history of, asking for concessions. So I just wanted to keep that under control and make sure that our attorney has experience with that and will help us keep that under control.
Yes, I'd just like to add something that, this is offered by the state of Michigan for renovating, expanding, aging Michigan manufacturing facilities and obsolete facilities. And, again, these are very common tools that are offered by the state of Michigan, and Detroit uses them all the time. Okay, and all the development industries use them all the time. And again, pairing all three of these documents together with the IFE, with the brownfield and the special services agreement, Harper Woods is still going to be getting their fair share of the monies generated from this project.
Right.
I think she's on mute.
You're on mute, Cheryl.
She went out. Councilwoman Pies, you have another question?
I
Actually, not a
I wasn't
question,
done yet.
just-
Well,
He
okay.
didn't answer my question about what the attorney's experience is with this.
Well,
Mr. Barr,
Mr. Barr
okay.
can answer the
Yeah,
question.
Mr. Barr can answer that.
Sure, I'd be happy to answer that question. I've been working in the economic development and environmental area almost my entire career. In the case of brownfields and tax abatements, it goes back when tax abatements to the late 1980s and brownfield became a tool in the mid 1990s. So I don't always like to add up how many years it's been because I feel older than I want to feel when I say that, but decades. Right now, about 75% of the projects I work on are in the city of Detroit, where I'm often helping businesses through a similar situation as North Point is asking you to do. And that is attempting to find solutions that meet the needs of both the community and the developer. I have on some occasions represented communities, typically cities, and in some cases, especially 10, 20 years ago, helped a number of communities establish their brownfield authorities. So my experiences across the entire spectrum of tax abatement programs, both PA 198 that the acting city manager mentioned, and about 4 or 5 other similar programs that are used depending on the circumstances. The challenge in this project is marrying all three concepts: the brownfield, tax abatement, and the special services agreement to protect the city's expectations. It's not unusual, but it's not the normal. And the opportunity you have here to try to preserve or get a portion of the increased taxes, depending on how you look at it, is something that is not done often. I would say no more than 5 or 10% of the projects I work on involve those tools all being put together. But I definitely have experience putting them together and will be happy to help assist you with that.
Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor?
Councilwoman Pies had her hand up. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, Councilwoman Pies, Councilwoman Lyons has not spoken, so let her speak first and then you, please.
We get me.
So my question is, do we generally need to have a rush when it comes to retaining counsel for, projects, especially considering that there is a planning commission meeting this week where the approved redrawn and reproposed plans by North Point, are going to be introduced, and then there's going to be the city council meeting in August. Couldn't we have also had this resolution for appointing Attorney Barr to at that time, or is there a need to rush things now for any particular reason?
Not necessarily to rush.
No, it's just he's got to keep things moving. We have to have documents to present to you. We, as Attorney Barr was suggesting, he has to be able to marry all three of these agreements together to where all of the interests are being served, and this is just part of the process. It's keeping it moving forward because time is money. Developers want to get in and they want to start work at a certain time. And when you start holding up projects, that's how cities lose projects, when they put delays. So we're keeping everything moving at this point.
Councilman Toussaint, please.
Yes, my question is, well, I know I'm not sure how we can really do it or anything, or if it's going to be legal thing, but I just want to make sure while you're doing this, Mr. Barr, is that we can keep in mind that we would like some of the jobs opportunities to be kind of focused on the residents of Harper Woods. And I'm not sure how we can kind of do that, without violating violations, but, one of the benefits of this whole thing going on is to make sure not a guarantee, but, perhaps keep in mind that we'd like to keep some of the jobs in the city.
Okay, Councilman Toussaint, Mr. Barr's expertise is not in that area. He's just drawing up the documents and the agreements that the city needs with North Point and with the state of Michigan's treasury to keep the whole, I want to say, process going. Your questions could be answered by North Point, either Mr. LePayton or one of his associates, and we'll note that too.
Councilwoman Pies.
My concern had only been that we were veering off the topic of the contract itself. And I just wanted us to stick to that, and any issues about the project itself be brought up either in call to council or at another meeting. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Sawicki,
You're on mute.
you need to unmute.
Thank you. Just a quick question, and this comes up with the idea of tax abatements. I just want to be clear about what I'm hearing. So the state of Michigan might be willing to give a tax abatement to this company coming in, but it doesn't affect Harper Woods collecting taxes on that same property. Is that my understanding?
It'll work out that way. What happens is the state of Michigan gives tax abatements up to 50% on operating taxes. This is standard operating procedure, and that going with a brownfield authority, with all these taxes being cut, we need to have taxes coming in, okay, or payments coming in, because the windows that they could recoup demolition costs and tax incentives, they can go out 12 years. So we need to have something in place that guarantees us an income stream until all these incentives kind of run their due course, so to speak.
All right, so we will still be collecting.
Yes. That's the whole purpose of this, is for us to be collecting, to have money coming into our coffers.
Very good, thank you.
Are there any further discussion?
Madam Chair, yeah, but any idea what kind of abatements we can expect, or anything like this to give us some sort of a sense of dollar amount, or?
Oh, I can't give you a dollar amount, but I want to say that similar projects, I think it's very common with a 50% abatement. And again, this project is so big. Detroit would love to have this project. Mike Duggan would love to have this project in his backyard. And so we have to be competitive with everything that's happening around us. And we have to stay competitive as well, but at the same time, not to the detriment of the city.
Right.
And Mr. Barr, Richard, is that a usual abatement, is 50%?
For new construction, typically the largest abatement that can be given is 50% for up to 10 years or 12 years, depending on which program or which law you're under. So that would be typically the largest abatement and the typical abatement that most communities would offer if they're trying to attract a business.
Thank you.
Can we get better than that? I'm sorry, I next for permission. Can we get better than that, or?
I'm sorry, could
Can we get better than that? I mean, of course we want the business, but can we get better than that, or are you going to negotiate that?
Well, it's the marrying of the three different programs here, the three different contracts, that is the challenge or the opportunity. So for example, the tax abatement on its own might provide that level of benefit, but the brownfield plan provides additional benefit. So depending what parameters you put on one tool or the other tool, or on the services agreement, is the way that you tune the violin, so to speak, or tune the instrument to make it better or more valuable. And the challenge, as the acting city manager mentioned, is to protect the city's income stream. And that's the relatively unusual element that we need to figure out a way to make that work for the city and also have it, of course, be sufficient for North Point to proceed.
Thank you. Are there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Mrs. Franks?
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Muted.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes, I get a
And-
Mr. Glenn, I did.
and Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
All right. So that takes us to call the audience. If we have anyone that wants to speak. Bob, if you see any hands, please let me know.
All right, we have several guests. If you can unmute yourself and identify yourself, as I don't see any cameras active, and we do have one phone call. So if you wish to speak, please unmute and identify yourself.
Okay, then we'll call the council. Anyone on council would like to further discuss this or discuss anything? All right then. So let's call for an adjournment. Is anyone would like?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting at 5 p.m. on Monday, July 26th.
Support.
5:22. Okay, who's second?
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman Lyons. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Have a good evening, everyone, and